Today on Wzra TV, we are very glad to have with us Naeck from 90 Day Fiance. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely, we're glad to have you. So tell us, okay, you're in Australia right now. What has this quarantine been like for you? What have you been up to? You like to meditate every morning? What's just like a daily life for you? Like every day, what do you like to do?
So yeah, every morning I wake up and I meditate. So there's different meditation that I try to do. So 4 days a week I go to train near the beach with a friend of mine, and every day I wake up at around 4:35. I meditate for like 45 minutes, an hour, and if ever it's not too cold, I go to the beach.
Yeah.
Well, usually at the moment it's winter, so it's cold every day. But I don't really have a choice. But yeah, I just dip in the water, come out, and then I start my day.
Mm.
Most of the time I don't go back to bed. I get up. But yeah, I start my day from there, and that's how it starts. And I just like to set the stage usually in the morning, and that's how I set my stage.
Yeah, and tell us, because you're so energized. We see that. I wish we had your energy. What do you do to really keep that energy? How do you do it? What's your secrets?
Um, sometimes I think I have ADHD or something along the line, but I've been always very much like that. So I need to sometimes, and I feel going to the water in the morning really just grounds me.
It grounds you, yeah.
It's unpleasant. It's unpleasant. It's cold. You get in and you're like, why the F I'm doing this? And but then afterwards you sit down and you're like, you know what? Sitting down in some space that is very uncomfortable and trying to be comfortable in that space is usually what I try to achieve.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the reason why I think it helps me just to ground myself.
Yeah. Do you do anything else that's kind of like grounding for you? Do you listen to meditation music? Do you do anything else related to that? Like,
yeah, so I do listen to actually. Well, there's the tones, the
yes.
200 and
Yeah.
so throughout the day, I've got like a list of them on my phone. So um, every single tone has a different meaning. One is for miracle happening, one is for grief and releasing fear. So what I do is sometimes I sit down and I'm tired of doing work. I just put that in, I put my earpiece on and listen to it, and it's just like sound that just resonates. And yeah, I sit there for 10-15 minutes. It just like gets me on, and then I'm back in the game. So this is usually what I try to. You try to find little hacks.
Yeah. Exactly.
To be able to be a better version, if that makes sense, yeah.
That's right. Well, tell us, because everybody obviously wants to know, are you single currently? Are you?
Yes, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, we heard some things 2 weeks ago. We read some news. So what was going on 2 weeks ago?
Sorry, three weeks ago?
Oh, 3 weeks.
Yeah, something around three. I don't, you know what, talking about what is going on, I was reading about the retrogrades, the planet retrograding.
Yes.
And I know some people believe in it, some people don't believe in it. Either way, I am very well connected with. I feel there is a connection for me because it pulls me towards that. Yeah, I was reading about the retrogrades, and it happened just when 6 planets was fully retrograding. I was like, okay,
there it is. Yes, there is.
But no, it's so interesting you said that. It's funny. That was an interesting experience too. Being on the show was very interesting. It was a very interesting. It brought more. I had to take it with a grain of salt, if that makes sense, and grow from what I had to learn from that. But it was very beneficial on many levels too at the same time. So it was a very interesting experience.
Well, okay, before we go into that, tell us. So what happened 2-3 weeks ago then? What relationship? Wait, finish with that, and then we can go into 90 Day Fiance, obviously. So yeah, what happened then?
So 3 weeks ago, it was 3 weeks ago now. I'm thinking 4. Yeah, I think so. A little bit more maybe. Yeah. So the person just calls and they say, well, I don't think I love you anymore. And yeah, it's very interesting because like a few days before, exactly 5 days before, that same person was saying that I can't live without you, and I want to marry you, except everything as such.
Yeah.
And then from there, that I will never let you go. From that to 6 days later, I don't love you anymore. I was like, what happened?
Yes.
Like, how can you switch from that? Is there something that is happening? Like you're stressed? And then it got to a point that it happened a few times, and I was like, you know what? You get to a point that you have to just say, okay, that's enough.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
What?
enough.
How? Like we said. Okay. Explain on your part what you think of the whole situation. How do you go from, like we said, liking a person so much, loving a person, to not? What are your thoughts on that in your situation that you went through?
I'm guessing there's a lot of things going on in the person's life, or there's something better that came across.
Okay.
There's a few things they are a combination of everything.
Yeah.
When I say better, maybe in the short term better
Yeah.
for what that person is trying to achieve.
Yeah.
But for the long term, you don't know. Like when I say better, because I don't think anyone is better than each other. It's what is good for the person in the moment.
Right.
If they're not committed, they will be attracted to different energies. That is pulling them towards that. So yeah, that's it. There's a few different options, but yeah. So that's how I see it.
Did you kind of let go then, like, of the whole relationship? Like, so are you like now free of it because?
So we had this pattern of going back and forth, but this time I feel like it was. You get to a point that you're like, okay, how much can you? Because you're dropping your. I've dropped my standards.
Yeah.
I keep on dropping my standards, and that person thinks that I can just move out and back in, move out and back in. Because well, obviously he will take me back. And for me, it was not like that. I'm like, well, there's a lot of challenges that person is having, and I don't want to come in and pressure that person.
Yeah.
And I just will hold space for them.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen.
That's right.
Because holding space is very sacred. If you can hold space for someone in a moment that there's a lot of challenges around their life, it's very noble. And I feel that's how I feel, because I know people that are around me that they're great at holding space for their partner, and I look at it and I was like, wow, that's amazing. The woman holds space for the man holds space for the woman, and it's just it's nice to see it. But that's when the relationship is committed.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's it. When the relationship is committed, that's when you can hold space for each other. But if it's not, if one is committed, the other one is not, you're just you're gonna go straight in the wall. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Avery, how you guys exactly met, and then that whole relationship, your thoughts on it, what you thought?
Yeah, Avery, we met online on Instagram. So she posted a picture of her food. I never saw her face. She posted a picture, and at that time there was someone taking care of my Instagram, and you start following people that have the same interest account as you. So it was just an automatic follow, and her picture came on my feed, and I just liked the picture, and I commented on it, and we started talking, and it happened that we started DMing each other, and that gradually turned into the fact that she was going to take off in a day or two from Instagram, so she wouldn't be on Instagram, and I talked to her only once, I think, and then twice, and she was not going to be on Instagram, and she's like, you know what? We have a great conversation. Let's exchange numbers. So we exchanged numbers. I still didn't know how she looked like, and then we started texting, and then sent each other pictures. And I really liked her, and that's where it started. We started talking, and after a few months, we started dating.
Oh wow! Okay, interesting. And then your thoughts, like we said, of the whole relationship.
Of the whole relationship, there was a lot of things that I've learned from the relationship, and there's a lot of I was able to, when I was doing relationship coaching a lot prior to that I've stopped that a little bit now, but I could see my clients when they used to come to me, and when they used to share their challenges with me, I feel I lived a similar challenge to a few of my clients. And yeah, it was a very challenging relationship. It was very challenging because you love the person, you would just like plug the moon for the person if you could. But the outcome is not similar to the outcome for the person is not similar to the outcome that I had in mind. And though that person sold me a dream, and the same dream that I had, doesn't mean that it's a dream that she wanted truly to experience. That's it. And that's where stability comes in. That's where um, stability, being grounded, not being too. "Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." Just be focused on on the task. And I think that's where being grounded is a very important thing nowadays.
And I have to ask you, obviously, because we're on this topic hand, like spiritually, would you put her on a level of anything? Like, do you see her as maybe like she was a karmic partner or not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's your decision to say. I don't know. You tell us. So, did you see her as anything like that, or no? After your experience in relationship,
At the start, I thought she was a soulmate.
okay.
And she is because we have many soulmates. She's definitely a soulmate, but she may have been a soulmate that was meant to come in to teach me something that I was not embodying for a better version of myself. And it was not a pleasant, because we had a process and there's different things that happen. That unpleasant moments open doors to different amazing opportunities. And when I look at it when I look at the bigger picture, I was like, well, there's a reason for why it happened, because that opened the doors to an an avalanche of opportunity that I wouldn't have had if I was 2 years ago, if I was just sitting in my office and just doing what I was doing.
That's true. That's true. What made her different also, like, because when you were a relationship coach, you saw a lot of different girls. What made her different and you didn't date like one of them, and then Avery kind of stood out to you? What made her really stand out to you?
Yeah, because the space of when I have a client, you're not even thinking of you're not thinking of dating. You're thinking of how can I help that person?
Yeah.
And usually you come from a space of how can I be of service to the person?
Yeah.
So that thought of dating my client was never in that.
It's not even.
You're not in that space.
That makes sense.
So that never occurred to me. With Avery, at that time I thought she was very different because I thought she was spiritual. She was very conscious. So her food was very. Those are the things that I do like to cook, clean food. I meditate, and what she sold me was very similar to that. And that's what I connected with, and we started talking. And she was a very smart girl, very open to different modalities that I was very interested in. So that's how the interest started, the similarities started, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why. And then she was a gorgeous girl too, so that made all combined together made it quite a great connection.
Yeah. And how do you feel like just seeing her like play back on like B90 Strikes Back and everything, and you talking about her and she talking about you? Like, just how do you feel about that whole thing and the comments of everybody? And yeah.
Yeah, that's actually yeah, I've heard that. I've heard of. I've seen a few of it. It's sometimes it's hard to hear it because like, oh shit, it is quite challenging because you have to be in a solid space of saying, hey, it's just a bit of drama going on. But yeah, I brought it up a few times with them. I'm like, did you have to say that?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a bit challenging sometimes.
Yeah.
Sure. But it's taken in fun. There's fun and challenge. It's like you're always between the two.
Yeah. Well, tell us, like, currently, like, literally in the present and the now, do you guys still follow each other online? Are you on talking terms? Like, kind of what's going on now?
So, no, we're not in talking terms. We're not following each other online. We're completely cut off completely. So, she's doing her thing and I'm doing my thing.
And you're doing yours. Like, do you watch the episodes? Do you watch 90 Day Fiance when it plays?
So, I have not watched it. The only time that I watched it was when I was doing Strike Back.
Oh, okay.
And I had to rewatch it. And that's when I rewatched the whole thing. I stopped watching it at that time because first, when I saw on the second episode, I saw my eyes. I was like, what's wrong with him? And that opened the doors to realizing that I had a disease, Graves' disease. But at that time, I didn't know that. So when I was looking at myself, I'm like, oh, I don't like that. And the way that it was done in a way that I'm a womanizer, I'm a chauvinist, etc. And I was like, I'm not connected with that person. What am I? What's going on? Because that's not me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not gonna watch this. So this is what was going on. So I'm like, I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
And but I didn't watch it until we had to do Strike Back.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So do you feel like we said the show kind of the editing was a little bit, not your true authentic self, or was just like pieced together wrongly?
So I feel like the thing is that I'm not going to say anything wrong against the production, but they have to create some story that will entice the viewers to watch it. From that standpoint, they did a great job.
Yeah. When you were doing your, what was that? The relationship.
Yes.
Okay, that whole segment, like that part, was it as true as it was on TV? Like, is that really what was happening? Was Avery that angry, or did they make it seem that way?
She got a little bit off.
Yeah.
Every now and then, and of course, there's a lot of more drama. It makes it more dramatic in that moment because it was like 3 to 4 hours being there.
Yeah.
So the 10 minutes that was played was the most dramatic scenes that could have been put together. But it was a tough moment because I'm not great. I was not great. I'm not a public speaker. So, but however, I did 1 or 2 seminars where I was talking. You talk about those things, but it was not done in front of camera where you're thinking of millions of people who are watching you, and it's not done in a space of you have your new girlfriend there trying to work out, is that going to be the guy that I want to be dating, because like judging and stuff. So that in that space, I just went on a shutdown and I was panicking. Actually, I honestly was panicking.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Whatever came up, and in the moment when I was there, I was like, "What am I doing? What did I sign up for doing that?" So yeah, I panicked, and whatever I said was in a space of fight and fight, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse. So it was an interesting moment. It was an interesting moment, but I feel like everything is a learning curve.
Yeah.
I just like, okay, great. I have to fix it. There's something that I'm not good at. I have to learn from it. It's feedback. It's love. I took that feedback and I went and I'm like starting to, okay, what can I do better now? That's the only thing I could do.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you're not doing the relationship coaching as much now, or do you do it at all? What are you currently up to?
So I'm still coaching, but I'm working with other people, like a doctor, a therapist, and a trainer. So we've created a program where we are helping people on different levels: spirituality, movement, mindset, nutrition. So we brought everything together. So that's being launched in a week or 2 weeks. That's being launched, a program that's being launched, so I've partnered with them to create that, and at the same time, that's a project that I was doing with my business partner. We are creating floating real estates on water that we want to send we want to have it in New York, Seattle, Tokyo. So that's the bigger project that we've been working on. Having floating restaurants, floating hotels on water, and floating wedding venues.
Oh, wow.
So that's what we're working on. Well, we finished working on it. We're just trying to now, because of the COVID and what everything's. So we're trying to work out, okay, how can we send them there and start the business, etc. So that's what we're doing, which is connected with the foundation that I'm creating, which is Save the Children by J Black, which is going to be helping foster kids have a home and learn and teach mindset, spiritual, meditation, etc.
That's great. And what is all of this called? Like, what is the name of everything?
So the group that I'm working with the therapist, the doctor, etc. This is actually on my page. If you look at my bio, you will see that there's a link there. It's called Mind Body Webinars, and there's a website that is going well. There's a website there that people can find us there. And then the other one is J Black. J Black is architecture on water. It's wedding venues. It's a different process where I wanted to bring. So with Avery, the idea was so before I met her, I was working on that boat. It's a floating space on water. and I was thinking of having it just before her meeting her. I was working on it, and then when I met her, things started happening, and it started happening well. I'm like, well, if I do ask her for her hand, I will get married to her in Seattle on Union Lake and have the boat there,
Mm.
and we'll do that there. But this didn't happen, but still that vision is still there. So that's why we're gonna still be doing it in Union Lake and have
Ah.
a moving wedding venue in Waterbury.
Well, tell me, are you still looking like in the future to get married then at some point, or?
You know what? Marriage is not in my vision.
Mhm.
Not for the next year at least, because there's so much things happening now that
Mhm.
I'm like, well, maybe it's a good thing. And there's so many opportunities that are coming through
Mhm.
that like, okay, let me focus on that, and maybe when it happens, it happens. But for
Yeah.
now, it's just whatever I can control is that. Let me put my energy there.
Yeah, and like love in general, because marriage is a whole different ballpark.
Different
Ballpark.
ball game.
Yeah, yeah, different ball game. Love
Yeah.
in general, like, would you date someone currently? Like,
Uh, Honestly, no.
oh no. Mm.
Honestly, no. Definitely not. I just want to. That's it. The focus is clear now.
Ah.
So um, I, that needs to be done, and I feel like I've given myself a whole year to just put my heart, my everything in what I'm doing at the moment.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
very
that's it.
good.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, and I like how you have a laser focus on everything. You really like tackle things very well, and you're very passionate about what you do, which is great. So keep that focus. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
And
Thank you
then
very
also,
much.
yeah, I was gonna ask you, do you talk to any of the other 90 Day Fiance couples? Are you friends with anybody?
You know what? I am friends with most of them. They are actually really the great people. I know that on TV we see a different version to it, but I'm friends with Tom. I'm friends with Usman. I'm friends with Lisa. I'm friends with um, Stephanie. I'm friends with yeah, Erica. Erica is awesome. I just had a
Oh,
chat with Erica a few days ago.
oh wow.
Erica is really cool. So yeah, you tend to be friends with most, even this present cast members, the present cast members, and the previous ones too. We tend to keep in
Oh
touch.
wow, that's awesome. Wow. Did everybody
Yeah.
kind of reach out to you, or did you reach out to them, or kind of both?
So it just happened like every now and then someone will, So at the beginning, one person will contact me, and then we start talking, and I'm like, you know what? I can contact anyone, I'm guessing then.
Yeah.
So then you start sending messages, and yeah, most of them, if not, yeah, most of them respond back,
Ah,
and that's how we started talking, and we kept in touch since then.
awesome. Yeah, is Tom,
Yeah.
how is he in person, Tom? We always wonder. We see him on
You
TV,
know,
but what is he like?
I've never, I've never met Tom in person, but he's really funny because I talked to
Okay.
him. I think 2 days ago I talked to him. Actually, 2 or 3 days ago I talked to him. He's a really funny guy. He's a very chill guy. I know that on TV he's that person
Yeah.
is different,
Yeah.
but in real life he is an awesome dude. He's
Yeah.
actually an awesome guy.
That's
In real
awesome.
life, like in reality, he's an awesome dude.
That's great. We like hearing that. We like hearing that. We've interviewed a lot of 90 Day Fiance people, a lot of the couples, and they're all such nice people.
Oh,
So,
they're amazing.
yeah, they really
Everyone is
are.
really like very grounded people too, and yeah, they
Yeah.
always. And these are the people that all cast members were the one usually sending DMs to make sure that we're okay. Well, for me, it was like that. And it was really nice to have that support. So it was great. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see yourself in any more 90 Day Fiance things? Like, in other words, like you didn't know B90 Strikes Back. So that came. If they asked you for anything else, would you, continue?
Oof. Oh, honestly, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. But if ever the bachelor wants to go and have a wedding, their wedding on my boat down the track in New York, they're welcome to do that.
Okay. Make that deal with them. Yeah, yeah. That would be awesome. Is there anything else that you wanted to tell everybody, 90 Day Fiance fans, just fans of you, that you just want to tell everybody? Anything else you want to just like tell them? Open air
You know
here.
what? I would say there was mainly the support, because there was a lot of support that I got, and I get so many DMs since I try to go through all my DMs. I'm doing it, by myself. I do try to reply to everyone, and sometimes I can't physically do it. But the support was amazing. I have to say, and I have to thank all the fans. A lot of you guys were so supportive of everything, and I think people were able to see past the show to reality, which was yeah, which was a great for me. It was very it was good to see that, to be able to see people seeing the real side to it too. So, and that support that I got was amazing, and even the hate that I got was, at the end of the day, you will get both. You will get both spectrum, and you can't have too much good. You can't have too much bad. It's just like a balance of both. And yeah, with all the hate, I still think like it's a feedback that I took on board. At the beginning, it was not nice to read, but then I'm like, well, you know what? There's something still there, like I can work on, and that's what I had to change. I'm like, well, this is feedback, and let's try to use this for a better way, in a better way.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So,
awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
no, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
I had fun too. Thank you so much. I was so glad to have you on our show. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.